Now on GMU at 6, a new warning out this morning about the potential for more violence. Why those riots at the Capitol may have encouraged extremists.
Good morning. Hundreds of Utah National Guard members arrive home after being deployed to protect our nation's capital. Coming up, we are live with the Sweet Homecoming.
Then a wild car crash caught on camera. See what power crews managed to do when that car drove straight into a power pole in Provo.
Plus, we're also seeing some more wild winds for this morning. We'll be tracking very closely for you wind speeds and wind gusts and more precip. Good morning. You're watching GMU at 6 a.m.
Live from Utah's first TV station, Good Morning Utah at 6 starts now.
Good morning, Utah. I'm Brian Carlson.
And I'm Sarah Martin. It is 6 a.m. on this Thursday. Soldiers with Utah's National Guard got home late last night from Washington. They were deployed for the presidential inauguration. Their presence added to robust security that may have dissuaded additional violent rioters from further attacks. ABC4's Jared Jatnini live at the Guard base near the Salt Lake Airport, where the soldiers flew home just a few hours ago. Jared.
Good morning. About 350 National Guard members, soldiers, and airmen arrived home from being deployed at the nation's capital during President Joe Biden's inauguration. Now, we were there for the homecoming. Take a look at this video. These soldiers that you see here were deployed side by side other National Guard members from about 20 other states. Their mission included area security operations at our nation's capital. Soldiers were called to protect after the deadly riots that broke out back in January 6th. We spoke to one soldier who says this mission was both an honor and a privilege.
I was feeling a little bit anxious. I'd say most people would be feeling a little bit anxious because you have an idea of what's going on, but you don't know exactly what's going to be going on. So for me, I had to mentally prepare myself for, worst case scenario, hope for the best sort of deal.
The soldiers were tested for COVID-19 prior to departing for their mission, and officials say they'll be tested soon after arrival. Now take a look at this video. Governor Spencer Cox was one of the first faces these soldiers saw as they arrived back home. You can see the governor there touching elbows with the soldiers to thank them for their hard work due to COVID. No shaking hands. Now, the governor says the next mission these soldiers will be a part of is one statewide where they'll be working to distribute COVID-19 vaccines. Live, Jared Jatnini, ABC4 News.
All right, thank you, Jared. New this morning, the Department of Homeland Security is issuing a new warning of more violence in the coming weeks. According to the Associated Press, the department released a national terrorism bulletin yesterday. The document warns of a potential for lingering violence from people motivated by anti-government sentiment. It suggests the riot you see there at the U.S. Capitol may encourage additional extremists and set the stage for more attacks in the coming weeks.
From your local election headquarters, Utah beat out almost every other state for the most growth in voter turnout in the 2020 general election. The director of state elections says Utah came in number 2 for the rate change in turnout from 2016 to 2020. The director credited Utah's vote-by-mail efforts. The only other state with more growth was Hawaii, another vote-by-mail state.
In southern Utah, the first female mayor of St. George is starting her new job and outlining her priorities moving forward. Right now, St. George, one of the fastest growing areas in the country. So to keep up, Mayor Michelle Randall says she'll focus on key issues from attainable housing to water access. Above all, she asked people in St. George to be kind to one another. She says she's seen growing arguments on social media.
Remember when people used to have a front porch and they'd just sit outside and they knew all their neighbors? I want us to maintain that small town feel, even as we grow.
Now, after completing her short appointment as mayor, Randall has committed to running for a full term in November.
New overnight, firefighters put out a fire in West Valley City. It sparked around midnight near 33rd South, 59th West. Right now, details are limited. Once we have more information, we'll pass that on both on air and online at abc4.com.
All right, let's check your weather. Erica, it's windy today.
Right? It was windy yesterday, windy today, but the breezes are going to start to die down by tomorrow.
So the sun will come out tomorrow, huh?
Yeah, it'll be coming out tomorrow. So here, we do have another system moving through a little trough, right? And then by Saturday, Sunday, we're going to see a much better weekend. So at least this is happening during the weekdays. While we do have Sundance that's kicking off, that's okay. You can certainly enjoy nonetheless. Right now, we're taking a live look downtown with our doTERRA camera, Salt Lake City looking oh so fine to start this Thursday, Throwback Thursday. So conditions right now are a little throwback to what we saw on Monday, right? It's kind of been an active weather pattern week all past couple of days, and it's going to continue to be active through tomorrow and early Saturday morning. That's when we start to see a really big improvement there. We have another trough that's going to dig on in, so we'll show that to you in the extended forecast next time we meet up. I want to go over what our future cast looks like immediately the next couple of hours. We're getting some more snow showers moving through parts of northern Utah, southwestern Wyoming, southeastern Idaho, and even Nevada as well. So we still see some snow showers for you. I-15 northbound SLC to Ogden currently at 30 minutes, and there are 0 incidents. And southbound Ogden to SLC, 31. Let's look at I-80 westbound Salt Lake City to Tooele, 33 minutes, 0 incidents. Back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Erica. We're learning more about that crash in Big Cottonwood Canyon on Sunday that shut down the canyon for hours. First responders had to pull 2 cars from the river. Unified Police say just an hour before the crash, the driver of one of those cars cited for speeding, now facing reckless driving tickets. UDOT says Big Cottonwood Canyon gets more serious weather conditions than other canyons.
It's important to pay attention on any road, but especially a narrow road that has twists and turns like Big Cottonwood Canyon. You have to pay extra close attention and make sure you're driving for conditions, slowing down and putting away those distractions.
In the last 3 years, UDOT's data shows 220 crashes in just Big Cottonwood. They say fortunately most of those did not lead to major injuries.
Well, check out this wild car crash in Provo. A car slammed into a power pole. The whole thing caught on camera. Look at it again. Provo Power shared this video of that car barreling down the sidewalk and then crashing into that pole. The crash snapped the pole in half. Provo Power worked for 12 hours to repair the damage. Now, during that time, not a single home lost power. Look at that.
Crazy.
I wonder if it's just one of those things where it just was so clean, like the brake was so clean, like the lines didn't even move.
I'm just to see it like careening on the sidewalk even. It's like you can't see that video enough. It's crazy.
Yeah, wild. All right, let's check your top headlines here for the coronavirus this morning.
We begin with ramped up vaccine efforts right here in Utah. The state of Utah now distributing more than 250,000 doses of the COVID-19 vaccine. But when will average Utahns be able to get their shot? The state health department says when you get your vaccine really depends on supply, age, and underlying medical conditions. Right now, only healthcare workers, residents, and staff at long-term care facilities, teachers, first responders, Utahns 70 and older are eligible, but that could expand next month.
As we start to see production ramped up and as we start to see the federal government procure more doses of vaccine, we'll be able to get to individuals quicker. We're probably looking at, late spring to early summer before you just open it up to the entire population.
The next phases of that rollout plan, tribal communities, racial and ethnic groups at high risk, and eventually all Utahns.
And Salt Lake County has now rolled out new mobile health centers to get more people the vaccine. The county health department unveiled these health centers on wheels yesterday. They retrofitted 2 RVs using funding from the CARES Act.
We're going to go out and get to people in need. I can tell you right now, you all know the most important thing for us in our community now is a vaccine. And we're working hard to get as many vaccines administered on a daily basis as we can.
Now, the health department will post online in advance where you can find these mobile health centers.
Hospital beds meant for kids will instead be used by adults with COVID-19. Intermountain Healthcare's Riverton Hospital turning its pediatric unit into a place for adults with COVID. While nurses say treating adults very different than what they're used to, they are ready to step up to the plate. Riverton Hospital now sending their child patients to Primary Children's.
And happening today in just a matter of hours, we're expected to learn more about Utah's push to ramp up distributing COVID-19 vaccines. Utah Governor Spencer Cox and the Lieutenant Governor will give us their weekly update on the virus. That starts this morning at 11. We'll broadcast the briefing both live on air and online at abc4.com.
Also today, we're going to learn more about the new strains of COVID-19 spotted here in Utah. University of Utah Health will give an update on COVID-19 case trends, hospitalizations, and the potential impact of those new various variants in our healthcare systems. The positivity rate in Utah is declining right now, but the number of hospitalizations still too high. That update happening this morning at 10.
And here's your morning update on COVID-19. Utah had roughly 2,000 new cases yesterday. That brings our state total to 340,000. So far, 250,000 Utahns have received the vaccine. 452 COVID patients are currently being treated in hospitals across the state, and 7 more Utahns have died, for a total of 1,620. You look at our last 7 days, you see our daily case totals popping up. We're averaging more than 1,700 new cases a day. That's the green line on your screen. Our testing positivity rate is 18.4%.
There's growing concern in the Salt Lake City district. Upcoming return to the classroom. Junior and high school students will now go back to class in less than 2 weeks. A teacher at West High tells us at ABC4 many teachers are worried about their health. She told us teachers want to delay restarting in-person learning until they have all had the vaccine, but that's a battle they lost.
A lot of teachers in our district don't even have a first vaccination and won't have when they came back on February 8th. It's very frustrating. I personally have been vaccinated.
Part of the class options teachers and students being offered include middle school students in class 2 days a week. Wednesday would be a digital learning day for everyone. High school students would have the flexibility to choose which classes they want to attend in person or remotely.
A new study suggests children would be, quote, relatively safe going back to the classroom. Research from the CDC finds there's a low risk of virus transmission in schools when they take proper safety precautions, like wearing masks and keeping students in smaller groups. But some teachers are hesitant. They say they're not sure there's enough available personnel, protective equipment, and room for social distancing to keep the virus from spreading at school.
The Sundance Film Festival starts today, but it is a little different than years past. It's all virtual. Organizers say they'll premiere over 70 films on a custom online platform during the 7-day event. There will also be some socially distanced screening opportunities around the country. That festival this year runs today through February 3rd. All right, do you have questions for the White House? We asked them. Coming up in just a few minutes, we talk with the Deputy White House Press Secretary about President Joe Biden's COVID-19 and economic recovery plan and what's coming next for the Biden administration.
And coming up here on GMU, police in Russia raiding more homes. Here, the government is tracking down the family of a leading opposition group. And Apple rolling out a new privacy policy. Here why the plan has Facebook upset. Your Good Morning Utah Business Report.